It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
All right, second time is the charm, right? Always pays to reboot. I almost forgot I had updates. What's going on, kind people? Lee Sanders back with you guys. New RCWR show. I believe this is our, my God, I think this is episode 1100. I've got to go back and look at the show notes, but I'm pretty sure this is episode 1100. Wow. It's a lot of episodes to put out. Honestly, if you add up all the episodes, not just of this series, but Wrestling with the Topics, Impact Showdown, all the specials, I'm pretty sure we are at least in the 3 to maybe 5,000 range, but just the RCWR show itself, episode number 1100. So here we are for this Monday night of July 8th, 2024. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Most importantly, I hope you guys are doing whatever you can to stay hydrated out there, because this weather ain't nothing to mess with. Let me tell you something. Over here in the DC metropolitan area, man, it might have been 95 to 97 degrees. But when you factor in that damn humidity, the humidity alone out here, y'all, I'm telling you, it put us 104 to 106, depending on where you are here in the DMV. Yeah, scorching hot, scorching hot. I remember saying to my wife last night before she went to bed, hey, make sure any errands that you have to do, because she usually runs a couple of errands for her job and all that right before she decides to take her lunch break and everything. I told her, I said, look, while you're running errands for the company, make sure you're taking something to drink, because before you know it, within seconds, you're going to be dying of exhaustion and thirst out there. So make sure you have something handy. Stay hydrated. Look, it was so bad. My girls did not, the 3 furry little daughters, my dogs, they did not want to go for their usual walks. They pretty much all went out in the backyard, because I got a nice, spacious backyard here of my home. So usually to try to save them and their paws and try to make sure that they're able to dodge heat exhaustion altogether, I like having them go out back. And you know what? I ain't getting no fuss. I ain't getting nothing from them this go round. It was pretty much, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do that. We'll go out back. Sure. Let's not do that walk. Yeah. They loved it. They were lapping up as much water as they could. So yeah, these next couple of days, you definitely don't want to be playing around with it. That weather, it can do a serious number if you are not careful. Hey, y'all might notice I'm trying a little something new here. So I was messing around on YouTube, and you guys know how it is when you're on YouTube. You go down this very interesting rabbit hole of YouTube videos, and I stumbled upon something in regards to this microphone that I've been pushing for several months now. I think at this point I've been pushing this particular microphone for maybe almost a year. And one thing that I had came across was, hey, in regards to this microphone, do you need a mic filter, or can you just do your thing commando without it? Which one sounds better? And so I had put on my headphones and I said, yeah, let me actually, see if I can tell a little bit of a difference with or without this thing in my hand here. And I was able to tell a difference. And so it was, okay, well, you know what? I think going forward, let me go ahead and take this away, because when it's all said and done, you hear that nice boomingness, that nice crisp, that gravitas type of vibe that we got going on here with the microphone. That's kind of another thing that I had kind of learned a little bit here. So now I'm kind of readjusting myself a little bit to make sure that all the sexy deliciousness that's pouring through into this microphone really resonates well with you all's ears. Okay, I'm done messing with you guys. But no, seriously, I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference. Speaking of which, I got some new equipment that I'm going to be playing around with. I appreciate you guys that's been showing love to my past couple of review videos that I put out. In case you guys are not aware, I did a album review for Daryl Hall's new album, simply titled D. We also put out a new snack taste video. This go round, I reviewed the new Doritos tangy pickle flavor kind. And you know what? Apparently there's some of you guys out there, even though these chips have been out for a little while now, there's a decent amount of you guys that I'm seeing going, wow, didn't even know these chips existed. I've yet to see these chips, but definitely will be on the lookout for them. Just some of the comments that I've seen. So it's nice to know that us putting that type of video out there, it is resonating with you guys, and y'all are like, oh, bet, that's what's up. One thing I was kind of noticing when it came to recording some of the newer videos that we put out, we even put out a Money in the Bank predictions joint. The audio, I've been messing around with this lavalier microphone. I've had it for years. It's pretty much been my main go-to when it comes to on-field reporting. And I don't know what it is, but I guess I don't know what to tell you guys, but that lavalier microphone is some shit. That's the best thing I can say to you guys. That microphone is some shit. So I ended up picking up this bad boy, and I'm getting ready to show it to you guys in a hot second. Did I tag this? Yes, I did tag. I'm just making sure wait a minute, or did I really? Did I? And I did. I was making sure I had tagged the video on the back end of YouTube here. Let me pull up my camera here. So I found this. You guys got to bear with me, but I found this on Amazon, and it was going for, let me put it, bam, right there. I found this on Amazon, and it goes for $20. It's a wireless lavalier microphone, and basically they give you a Type-C, and they give you a, for the traditional iPhones, remember the input prior to the Type-C? Remember that little device with the little gold slots in it? You know what I'm talking about, almost kind of like a microchip. So whether you're pushing an older model or you happen to have a device with Type-C capabilities, they hook you up with that. You get the charging case, and you get 2 wireless microphone clips. Now, you don't have to use both of them unless maybe you have a co-host or you're interviewing somebody and you're pretty much able to conduct the interview that way. But yeah, I was able to get this on Amazon for $20. And I know some of you guys are like, Lee, what do you say? Is it good? I've yet to test it. I'm going to be testing it this week, and I'll definitely put something out there so you guys will be able to essentially tell the difference. And hopefully you all, will notice the difference. But I've seen nothing but good things about this, so I'm very stoked. I can't wait to see what's going on with this. Welcome to those of you. I basically was talking this long because I was just trying to kill a little bit of time, because I know initially when it came to the live stream, we lost people, unfortunately, because I forgot to reboot the computer. And so the initial broadcast, we were having a decent amount of people that were flowing in. I've yakety-yacked long enough, just trying to make sure I buy people enough time to come on aboard with a new link and everything. And at this point, not too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm looking, for example, on Twitter, and we still got people that are trickling on in. So we'll see what happens as the broadcast comes on throughout. Hey, what did you guys think about tonight's Monday Night Raw? What did you think about that? It's so hard to believe, but when I heard Michael Cole and the gang announce it within the first 45 minutes of tonight's broadcast, I did a double take. I shook my head, and with my hearing, I'm going, wait, what? And that is the fact that we are 3 weeks away from SummerSlam. Again, we are 3 weeks away from SummerSlam. I'm just looking at this and I'm going, wait, what? Because the way I have been as a wrestling fan, the way I have been conditioned, particularly as a WWE fan, when it has come to SummerSlam all these years, WWE has essentially been notorious for, okay, SummerSlam, we are going to build this up and build this up and build this up. Hey, if we can do this 5, 6, 7 weeks in advance, then that is what we're going to do. I know WWE is killing it right now. Live attendance, everything is just up, way up. Kudos to them. But man, we're fresh off of Money in the Bank. And now we're 3 weeks away from, and here's what's even crazier about this, right? And look, we're definitely going to talk about Monday Night Raw tonight. I also got to show some love to NXT. Your man did watch NXT Heatwave. I totally forgot about Heatwave being this weekend. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I actually was under the impression that Heatwave was going to be going down on this Tuesday's TV edition of NXT. I was under the impression that it was going to be a TV event. No, this was a pay-per-view event in itself. And I'm going, wait, what? So I was pretty shocked come Sunday. I'm playing around, messing with some stuff in post-production, doing some editing work. And I just happened to hop on Twitter, seeing what people are talking about. And I'm going, why is NXT trending? What's going on here? And anybody that has Twitter, you can, if you're on your desktop, for example, I spend half my time in front of the computer doing editing, and then the other time I'm on my phone. But sadly, on my phone, I don't really see what I'm able to see when I'm in front of my computer, which is, if you're in front of your computer, you've got live on X on that right-hand side of your screen. And you can see like all the stuff that is essentially, and right there, I saw WWE, and it was something NXT Heatwave. I'm going, what's this about? What, are they previewing the card or something? And it turns out it was a goddamn premium live event that was on. I'm going, oh, snap. So I almost missed it. Yesterday. So we're definitely going to show love to NXT Heatwave, talk about that, talk about the latest in headlines and more goodies. So you all picked a really good night to tune in to check out the show. By the way, speaking of shows, what did you all that watched Raw thought of it tonight? Sound off. Got a poll up on Twitter at the RCWR Show, or you can vote via youtube.com/the RCWR Show and click on the communities tab to cast your vote that way. So 3 weeks away from Money in the Bank. And essentially the only match that we know for sure that's going to be going down at SummerSlam right now is Damian Priest taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. But some really great developments went down on tonight's Monday Night Raw that makes the plot thicken even more in regards to that matchup between those two big men. Because Damian Priest bumped into Seth Rollins after Seth Rollins had his exchange with CM Punk. We'll circle back to that in a little bit, but Damian Priest crossing paths with Seth Rollins tonight, and Seth Rollins letting him know, hey, look, what you did out there in that Money in the Bank ladder match, kudos to you. Kudos to what you did there. You showed up. You definitely were a man of your word. You said that Judgment Day was not going to interfere. And you know what? Hey, they did not interfere. So it's only fair I be a man of my word. And as far as me challenging for that championship, so as long as you're champion, I'm going to go on ahead and honor it. And he went on to tell him, look, you might have beat me tonight and everything, but you really got to bring your best A game coming up at SummerSlam against Gunther. Speaking of best A game and all that, look, I know we had the big botch that went down in that Damian Priest Rollins match for Money in the Bank. Triple H did talk about that a little bit in regards to the referee call. Triple H said referee's decision is final. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with the referee to see what he saw that I didn't see, that you didn't see, that no one saw. You know, look, human beings in a ring, mistakes happen, things happen. It is what it is. Triple H also addressed the criticism that came from Damian Priest's performance. I know there was definitely some of my constituents out there that took issue with Damian Priest's performance. I know that in regards to, and I respect him a great deal, Eric Bischoff, I was a little bit curious what he had to say as I had dropped in on, and you know what? Shout out to Conrad Thompson, by the way. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like Conrad is listening to the criticism that's out there, that he talks way too much, and that the star of the show is Eazy-E. It seems as though, tell me how it is. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Y'all let me know. But it seems the past couple of weeks of shows they've been doing, Conrad pretty much just serves the pitch, gives it to Eric, lets Eric run with it as long as humanly possible, doesn't cut off Eric, times his jumping in. You know, he's even dialed back a bit on his takes as far as, you know, what he sees, what he likes, what he dislikes. Let me know if you guys are kind of noticing the same thing. I know he gets a lot of hate online and everything. You know, I've always respected Conrad. I've never had any issues with the man. You know, sometimes he can be a little bit too vocal. Sometimes he can be a little bit too passionate, but you know, who isn't a wrestling fan? Show me a wrestling fan that isn't as vocal and as passionate. That would be my counter to all of that. But even Eric Bischoff, to a main point, had criticized Damian Priest's performance, whereas I said here on the Money in the Bank post show, hey, you know, the Damian Priest, as far as I was concerned, you know, yeah, you had some hiccups in there, but it was still one of his best performances. Like, you knew going into the match that on paper, Rollins Priest, yeah, this should be a classic. And for the most part, I thought they did a really good job. I would still look at that match Priest had and say, you know what, to date, as far as a singles match, this was pretty good. Could it have been better? Yes, it definitely could have been better. And I promise you, if these two were to ever lock it up again, they will do justice. But Triple H, in these comments that I'm reading to you guys, this came from the Money in the Bank press conference, for those of you that might have missed out on it. But he responded to how people will criticize the aspect of Priest's performance and all that, saying, but, you know, it's funny for me now looking at that. If that was something I was involved in as a talent, I don't care how good the rest of it was, that would be all I would think about. And to me, it's a shame that that's all people will talk about. And that's all people will hit Damian Priest with. Wow, he had a phenomenal performance tonight, right? But a bunch of people will attack that, criticize that, comment on that. I don't know why. That's just the negative outweighs the positive sometimes. And to me, I wish I could just go in the back, shut off his phone, have no one talk to him for a while, and just let him think about all the other great stuff that happened in that and the role that he has been on and how great of a job he has done as world champion and what he's done to get there and deserve it, right? Because he deserves all the credit in the world for all of those things. He also went on to talk about how Damian Priest in his book has definitely stepped it up as champion. Yeah, I mean, he's coming around. You know, as we've talked about here on the show, the in-ring stuff, not an issue. It's just, hey, can we get that Damian Priest that's just firing off mucho charisma in his press conference interviews and what he's putting out there on social media, the backstage skits and all that? Can we have that resonate when he's out there live in the ring with a microphone? Can we maybe kind of tap into that and put that on display? That's been my only gripe. And I'm well aware of all the people that jumped out there and, with the botch spot. But it's like, look, accidents can and will happen. Mistakes will happen. Okay? It just happens. Whether a person has a brain fart or maybe just in that brief moment, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you how it is. Maybe they're distracted by something. Hell, honestly, just a brain fart. Or maybe their mind kind of drifts into something else. Or maybe what they were thinking. Because sometimes when I look at a lot of what these men and women do in the ring, I've always looked at it as a dance performance, and certain moves in that dance, you got to make sure, especially when you're communicating with your dance partner, right? There's certain moves that you're doing. You're trying to make sure that both of y'all are on the same page and everything. And sometimes there's going to be a misstep in that dance. It happens all the time. I'm going to look at one incident. Let me see if I got this straight, y'all. And it ties back to Raw tonight. So stay with me here. But let me see if I got this straight. I'm going to look at one botched incident from this whole reign of Damian Priest so far. And as a fan, I'm essentially going to just crap on the guy for that. I'm going to make fun of the guy for that. Yeah, nah, you can miss me with all that. Seriously, you can miss me with all that. But Damian Priest hearing Seth Rollins loud and clear about bringing his best A game to SummerSlam against Gunther. Damian Priest stopping Rollins dead in his tracks and letting him know, you know what? As far as that gentleman's handshake that we did for the championship, look, I'm throwing that out the window. You want another crack at this world title? You name the time and you name the place, but let it go down after I take care of business against Gunther at SummerSlam. So, nice ballsy move. I love that whole game recognizes game from Damian Priest to Seth Rollins. I love that. Nice rub off there from a former multi-time World Heavyweight Champion. Definitely a future Hall of Famer in Seth Rollins. I would say first round whenever he retires, and it's, okay, so do we put him in? Yes, you can automatically. Yes, he goes in. Definitely he'll go in. So I love seeing all of that. Where I had a bone of contention, though, was, and I think it was Joe Punches on social media that had followed up and pretty much said this as well. My whole thought process was going back to Damian Priest. Wait a minute, we don't have Damian Priest kicking off Monday Night Raw? We don't have him getting involved there and what all came about between CM Punk's involvement in his match per se at Money in the Bank? We're not following up on that? Don't get me wrong. What happened with CM Punk and Seth Rollins tonight to open up Raw, I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. Remember what we had talked about here on the show less than 24, I'm sorry, 48 hours ago, because it was Saturday, right? Money in the Bank was Saturday. But remember what we talked about on the Money in the Bank post show in regards to CM Punk and just how intertwining we have him here, right? One route, we've got Damian Priest. Another route, we've got Seth Rollins. Another route, we've got Drew McIntyre. And remember the idea that I put out there about, these three guys, they've got somebody in common who they can all admit they kind of despise. They wish he was doing something, anything else besides sticking his nose in their respected business. Wow, wouldn't that be something if all three of these guys were to gang up on Punk? Like, at this point, what is stopping them from forming a brief alliance and saying, we need to nip this CM Punk crap in the bud? Like, nip it in the bud already. So the fact that CM Punk is opening up the show, I'm looking at this, I'm going, and we got to keep in mind, Drew McIntyre suspended. I thought that touch of drama that they added to the Money in the Bank post show, I thought that was badass. I thought it was a very nice touch, way to continue the way that these post shows are evolving for WWE. They are making it very, very interesting. They are taking it and doing it in such a way. Now, I got to admit to you guys, I have not seen the last two AEW media scrums. So I'm going to have to rely on you guys that are checking this out live and you want to offer a comment. And shout out to those that normally show the ultimate love and they check out the shows on demand and on the downloads. I'm not going to get around to this, so feel free to answer the question, because I'm not going to physically go out of my way to look it up online because I'm busy doing a whole bunch of other stuff right now. But in regards to AEW's media scrums, are they taking it to the route that WWE is now taking it? Because WWE has gotten to a point now with their respected scrums where no. This is so much more than just being in front of a podium, if you will, in front of a microphone, taking a couple of questions, bringing the wrestlers out. No, we are going to continue strengthening our story arcs in a few key areas, put them on display here as part of this post show, right? And you could say AEW, but I mean, no, it just seems like WWE is really going in heavy on this. Are they not? I mean, they are really taking their cues from what they are seeing with MMA scrums and just adding their own little fun twist to it for the wrestling universe and all that. I'm liking it. That's the whole point that I'm making. I really like what they're doing. CM Punk, Seth Rollins. You knew Rollins was going to come out there, and Rollins checkmating CM Punk, telling him straight up, dude, I let you slide for this long because when it was all said and done, you essentially weren't sticking your nose in my business. But here we are at this point, standing across from each other. This is the end result of you sticking your nose in my business. You want to talk about actions have consequences? Well, look at what your actions have caused in a result of sticking your nose in my business, which was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Not a pipe dream as far as I'm concerned. That is, to me, very, very important. Right? He's almost pulling a page out of something that Triple H used to say back in the day, which is if you're not in WWE to be a World Heavyweight Champion, you got no business being here. And that's essentially what Seth Rollins was giving to CM Punk right between the eyes. I love this back and forth banter that was going down between both men, but particularly about the action of consequences, right? be it good or bad, there's always a consequence to every action. It's so funny because it resonated so well with me hearing Rollins put that out there. Not to mention a little bit that Punk was bringing up as well, but more so how Rollins responded to Punk, because it's something that I always talk about with my friends and family, definitely with my wife. Yeah, I always talk about consequences. And here we are here with CM Punk. Okay, what's he going to do here? Is he going to do the right thing? Because he essentially made Rollins be a casualty of war in his quest for a pound of flesh from Drew McIntyre. Rollins gets caught up in the crosshairs. What's going to happen here? Okay, maybe we're going to see a more reasonable, more mature CM Punk jump out there and apologize to Seth Rollins. Well, there would be an apology, but it came off like a half-assed apology. Let's be real. You know a half-assed apology when you hear one, and that definitely was a half-assed apology because he apologizes, but then backs it up and goes, but I can't really apologize, can I? Right? It's like, oh, come on, dude. This was your opportunity to truly let bygones be bygones. So he failed the test right here. Rollins letting Punk know straight up, you know what? Whenever you get cleared, it ain't Drew McIntyre you got to be worried about. It's me. Shots fired. So Rollins is already calling his freaking shot. It just really makes you wonder that as far as SummerSlam goes, what is going to be happening here with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? Are we going to get this match or aren't we? Are we maybe going to go down the road that I've been talking about off and on these past several weeks now, which is, can we get Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, unsanctioned match? Anything goes. The W is not going to be recognized in the record books. I mean, this is essentially a lights out match, right? It's not going to count in the books. When we look in the analytics and time, right? Like, it don't matter. I want this to go the route of what Triple H and Shawn Michaels did back in the day in their respected SummerSlam match. Remember that? That was so freaking badass back in the day. The whole mystery as far as trying to figure out who did the dirty deed there to Shawn Michaels, who beat the holy crap out of him in the parking lot that infamous night, right? SummerSlam 2002, look it up. I still have that, by the way, on VHS. I know that's the new thing now with the Wyatt Six. They're recording all their stuff with VHS, and they're adding the whole static effect and tracking. Like, I love all those cool effects that they're adding and everything, right? But let me tell you something. It's really going to be hard to believe this, but back in the day, that was, believe it or not, for our younger audience, VHS tapes back in the day, that was cutting edge technology. That was cutting edge. It did not get any better than what we had going on with the VHS tapes back in the day before the DVDs, started coming into play, blowing up and all that. VHS tapes was where it was at. It's so goddamn funny. But no, I still have SummerSlam 2002 on VHS. One of these days, I got to dig it up just so I can watch that event in its entirety. And that's got the original sound. We went through a period, I think we went through a period where once the WWE Network had launched, what was that, guys? Back in 2013, 14? That the WWE Network had launched. I remember there was that period where WWE was going back and they were editing all of the sound, original music, the whole 9 yards, you name it. I'm curious how the SummerSlam that's currently available through Peacock, and the WWE Network, believe it or not, it's actually available still in some countries until this Netflix deal comes into play. Then I would imagine then they yoink it. But I'm very curious to compare the original audio and everything from my VHS copy to what's currently out there digitally. I bet you it's night and day. I guarantee you it's night and day. But nice, fun banter exchange there between CM Punk, Rollins. But it creates this whole new question. And can we address the elephant in the room already, which is what in the flying hell is going on with CM Punk's health status? Is this guy going to be ready to do some type of physical actions in the ring? Is he going to be able to do more than just a run-in? Is he going to be able to do a 10, 15, 20, 25 minute, I think at this point, not a match, but is he going to be able to do some type of a fight? That's why I'm going with a unsanctioned match. Whether you guys want to say, oh, a hardcore or a street fight, or, you know, it kind of seems like maybe that's the direction that we're going. But first things first, what is going on with CM Punk's health status? Because remember, we got teased that Punk was going to reveal his health status some weeks back when it came to that Chicago edition of SmackDown, McIntyre. And that was a brilliant move as far as trying to extend it even further, getting Punk closer and closer to possibly getting the green light. But now you're 3 weeks out for SummerSlam. You're going, okay, so is anything going to go down between these two guys or what? Definitively at this point, we should know what's going to be going down next week. Because on next week's Monday Night Raw, because of the actions that went down from the Money in the Bank press show conference where Drew McIntyre kind of got physical with Adam Pearce, then was talking trash on social media. Drew McIntyre got suspended and fined this week. But CM Punk letting Adam Pearce know, hey, look, let's do something. You got to do something here where me and Drew McIntyre, we can finally, because I'm not going to rest until I'm able to get my hands on this dude. So what's up? Let's make it happen, yo. So next week, Drew McIntyre is going to be back on Raw, I guess, to address CM Punk's challenge. But there's a caveat to that, which is CM Punk has been barred from next week's Raw. He has been ordered to stay at home. So, I'm very curious what is going to happen. I am assuming the best case scenario is going to be Drew McIntyre challenging CM Punk to some type of a street fight, unsolicited match, fight, whatever you want to call it. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. And then the very next week, Punk is going to respond, accept the challenge, and then that final edition going into SummerSlam, I don't know. Maybe they sign a contract. That should be interesting. Let me know how you guys are looking at this. If you're thinking the same way I'm thinking, or do you see something else happening here as far as a monkey wrench? Sound off, let me know. So, nice, interesting developments going on right there. Some other interesting developments that went down from tonight's Raw. Liv Morgan. Oh, I love me that Liv Morgan, man. I love me that Liv Morgan. Let me tell you how much I love what's going on currently with Liv Morgan. And I always thought Liv Morgan was a cutie. I never disputed that with anyone, but I just felt, okay, I'm not seeing anything really original here. There's nothing really that jumps out and resonates to me where, okay, I am a fan. But man, right place, right time, right cast of characters. Everything is just clicking for this girl on all cylinders. I'm really loving her work, her best work since she's been in the company. She's found her groove. She's got her lane, and then she is just riding that bad boy out. I'm loving it. Let me tell you how much I love Liv Morgan. Remember we were talking about WWE Supercard for those of you that were here for the Money in the Bank post show. And this is fun trivia. You guys need to keep this in the back of your head because it blows your mind. So for those that missed it, at one point I talked about how from the Money in the Bank post show, Trish Stratus hometown hero, essentially. Born and raised in Canada. Here she is as the host of Money in the Bank. Cole and the gang keep bringing up the whole decibel meter. It's off the chains. Listen to the fans. And yet you could hear a freaking pin drop for Trish Stratus. It was just, wow. Like, it's amazing to me. I was a little bit perturbed. I got to say, I was annoyed seeing the type of reaction that Trish Stratus had got from the crowd. It broke my heart. And then I tied it back to WWE Supercard, the mobile game, because they had this event. It wrapped up a couple of hours ago, but it's PCC, People's Champions Challenge. And basically, you chose your respected champion, and hopefully you chose the right winning team, because at the very end, all the points is added up, and whoever has the most points, hopefully you voted for that respected champion, because if you did and you ranked in the top 10,000, you get that card. So this go round, they had Liv Morgan going up against Trish Stratus. And you're looking at that, you're going, wow, this seems so random. But then when you look at, obviously, the folks there at Cat Daddy, developers behind WWE Supercard, obviously they have some type of communication directly with WWE as far as, hey, this is what's going to be coming up, blah, 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 blah. So the timing of Liv Morgan versus Trish Stratus in the People's Champions Challenge, right? It's more than just great timing, okay? Hope you guys kind of realize that. Anyway, I talked about how for the first 24 hours that mode launched, Liv Morgan freaking crushed it. She crushed it. She hit over 1 million easy. Trish Stratus in those first 24 hours was struggling to crack 1 million. Trish Stratus went into past 24 hours, I want to say, floating around the 500, 600,000. That's how bad it was for Trish Stratus. She didn't finally get her million until basically, essentially a day and a half later. All right. The final tally for what went down there with that mode, Liv Morgan definitely won, by the way. She won. But the final tally of it is as follows. 6,820,000 plus for Liv Morgan. Trish Stratus just barely got over 2 million. Right? So obviously this girl, to my whole point in regards to Liv Morgan is definitely doing something right when it's all said and done, right? Your man did play that mode, by the way. I was like, yo, I love me some Liv Morgan now. Like, yo, I need me a new card, because I was trying to do my thing with one of the campaign wild mode. The campaign wild mode. I just now got is it Tamatanga? I just got his, so it's a second card for me with the heroic upgrade. I just got that. And now I've got basically 2 maps left. I think I'm saying it right. I'm not really sure, but basically I've got like a handful of matches left to try to go for the ultimate prize, which is that Undertaker card. I don't think I'm going to get that Undertaker card though, because I'm like about 40, I think I'm about 40 points away from getting the Undertaker card, but yeah, I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't see that happening. So, but yeah, got my Liv Morgan card. I'm excited. Anyway, Liv Morgan. We see a continuation of her and her fun little drama messing around there with Dom Mysterio. And I tell you what, I laughed my ass off seeing Liv Morgan helping Dominik stretch out in the back. That screamed Triple H. That just screamed Triple H. Because I'm thinking about that one infamous edition of Monday Night Raw where Triple H had to team up with Trish Stratus. And he's in the back. It looked like it wasn't even a locker room. This is a little small room that they were in, working out. And Triple H, he's like, yeah, let's get you warmed up. Let's get you ready. Let's work out the kinks there. Work out the stiffness. And I remember he got behind her, and he put his hand around her arm, and the way that he positioned it, it almost kind of looked like he was doing something to her from the back. And I just remember how when Stephanie McMahon walked in there and Triple H was just, oh, that scene with Liv stretching out Dominik on the sofa, putting that leg up like that. I mean, I got to keep it clean here on the show, but tossing salads. I mean, it did not look right. And then to add insult to injury, Father knows best, Damian Priest coming in there. Now Beaver, it's kind of one of those type of deals. Leave it to Beaver. It's kind of one of those type of deals. Rest of the guys in Judgment Day sold the hell out of that, sticking their little heads out of the damn corner. I loved it. Love that nice little talk too of somebody. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Carlito. Was it Carlito that mentioned basically seeing the hard on? He didn't say hard on, but he did say that's hard. He did say something along those lines. I lost it. I was drinking something and I lost it. I was in tears watching. That was one of the funniest moments of the entire night. I just sank my teeth into that. That was a well-executed segment on so many levels. Liv Morgan, though, trying to get on the same page with Dom because they were in a intergender tag match for tonight. That was actually the main event, too, by the way, as they teamed up to take on the team of Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio, Liv Morgan, tapping that behind, getting the job done on them. Liv Morgan wanted to continue celebrating there with Dom. Kind of pick up on where things essentially were left off with them backstage. I thought we were getting ready to see some live sex celebration. I got to be honest with you guys. Shout out if you go that far back. I'm telling you. But we kind of got a little bit of a preview of what was possibly going to be closing out the night because Damian Priest pretty upset with what he saw of Dominik earlier in the night, telling him he needed to handle his business. But leading up to that, Damian Priest got a phone call, it looks like, which had us kind of wondering, who's he talking to? Who's at the other end of the line there? And, well, we would find out, as apparently Dominik was not told. He basically would find out in real time. Rhea Ripley back. By the way, I did not say this yet. I know we have some wrestlers that make their rounds. They check out what certain podcasts have to say. We definitely, as long as we've been doing this show here, which has been since 2011, we definitely have friends of the show that happen to be involved with WWE, AEW, WOW, a couple of other promotions, TNA for sure, NWA. We know that they definitely make their rounds, and I've even heard from some of them. Some of them have definitely, directly messaged me and all that. I hope this finds Rhea Ripley well. Congratulations. For those of you that maybe are not aware, Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, they tied the knot very recently. I think it went down within the past week and a half to 2 weeks. So congrats. Very, very, take it from somebody that has been married now for a couple of years. We just celebrated our our 3rd year anniversary. It's kind of weird when you think about it because we've been together almost 15 years, but we didn't get married until 3 years ago. I'm to blame for that. If you even want to blame somebody, honestly, when I got married the first time, I got married extremely way too young. Went at it too fast. I really should have taken my time. And so, if anything, when I went into my next relationship with my now wife, I really wanted to take my time, really get to know her and all that good stuff. I'm sure that if she were to hear me say all this, she will have a hearty chuckle, because she'll be like, well, I remember it differently, right? She'll do it like that. But no, not to get totally sidetracked on that. But I tell you, once you found that person and you just definitely know in your heart of hearts that this is the one, this is the person that I definitely want to spend the rest of my life with. Yeah, once you're there, you're either going to go all in or you find somebody else. Yeah, one or the other. And so the fact that they went all in and they got married, congratulations. That's awesome. Also, congratulations to Angelo Dawkins from Street Profits. He had tied the knot as well. I wonder if they all had got married on the same day, or it was just in that same weekend or week or whatever, because I remember seeing it go boom, boom, back to back with the news announcements of both of those people getting married. But Rhea Ripley looked very well rested. I've sparingly seen photos of her online. So, she still is massively big. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. She still looks like she can go out there and kick some major ass. She does not look as defined as when we last saw her. I particularly was looking at the arms, because I remember in the arm, she had definition and all that going on. Not as defined in the arms. And look, rightfully so, because considering, what had happened with her arm and all that, right? You want to do the rehab and all that good stuff. So look, remember the last thing we heard about Rhea Ripley was she was contemplating on rehabbing the injury or getting surgery. And last we were talking about that injury of hers. If she was going to opt in for surgery, then she would be out of action for at least until fall. And I remember saying way back then, if she opts in for the surgery, we're probably not going to see her until September, October, November. But if she rehabs, I brought up the question, could she maybe be back in time for SummerSlam? Who knows? Rhea Ripley coming out there, Liv Morgan perfectly hauling ass. I love that little touch. Here we are with the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. She's talking this good, hot game. She's been doing her little stuff behind the scenes, messing around with the Judgment Day and all that, trying to be the Yoko Ono, trying to be the one responsible for breaking that whole thing up. And yet, here comes Rhea Ripley. And Liv Morgan, rather than stand her ground, it's just a little fine attention to detail that I love and appreciate. I love that Liv Morgan just ran out of the ring like a chicken shit. I loved it. Nice touch. And things end with Dom looking, man, his facial expression, shout out to Dom. He sold the hell out of that. One, he looked surprised, mixed with happiness, mixed with trepidation, mixed with fear. All of that beautifully captured in his facial expression as Rhea Ripley, we don't know what she's saying to him, but it's because it's inaudible. But the very last thing we see as it's literally fading to black is Dom trying to go for a hug, and Rhea pushes him. That much we were able to see. I wish it could have stayed on for an additional 30 seconds, but you know how it is on the USA Network. They got to end the show abruptly so they can show them stupid-ass reality shows. Whatever, man. But at this point, you can definitely see the full extended stuff on social media and everything. So Rhea Ripley is back. Now comes the question. All right, she's back, and obviously she was out there. She wasn't wearing no sling. She wasn't wearing no arm brace, none of that. So now the question, okay, first off, are you really at 100%? Are you good to go? And if you are good to go, we going to be doing this at SummerSlam? What we doing here? So that is a continuation of that respected arc. But, yo, everything to me still feels as though it's going according to plan. I do feel that ultimately Dom will turn on Rhea Ripley, make that whole babyface thing essentially be complete. There will be that implosion of the Judgment Day. There will be that course of chaos. There will be discrepancies. There will be that miscommunication. There will be that blow up all within. I do believe that we're going to see JD, Finn Balor, Carlito. I believe we're going to see things get divided. They're going to look at what Liv Morgan essentially has done for them. I do see it getting to that point where those guys go, well, Liv Morgan has done more for us than Rhea and Damian Priest combined. I could see it going down in such a way where maybe they could even say deuces and they roll with Liv Morgan, Dom included. I could see Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, so what are we doing here? Well, this isn't exactly Judgment Day, is it? Like, well, I guess I do feel that what WWE is ultimately doing with the Judgment Day feels as though we're going the long route of eventually breaking these guys up, which is, if that's what they want to do, okay, cool. But Rhea Ripley as a babyface, that's definitely where we're going here. You got to have Dom stick that knife into the back of Rhea Ripley. You just got to do it. You got to pull the trigger on that. So some fun developments going on right there. Damage Control even having a little bit of development there. They had a match earlier in the night. I really didn't particularly care for the match, by the way. I mean, the match was just, it was all right. It was all right, but I liked what happened post-match from a storyline perspective because, number one, I'm a huge fan of Sonya Deville, and we've been seeing these little Easter eggs off and on of somebody being interviewed, and then if you look over their shoulder, you've been seeing Sonya Deville. Looks like she's been talking to Zoe Stark, chatting it up there with Shayna Baszler and all that. And finally, we see how everything had came together there. So, Damage Control taking on Kayden Carter, Katana Chance, Lyra Valkyria. Very, very short matchup as far as I was concerned. This match was probably at most maybe about 5-6 minutes, give or take. It was what it was. As Damage Control is celebrating, next thing you know, wham, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville come from out of nowhere, attacking Damage Control. They ganged up on EO, beat her ass down real good. Cameras caught up with them later on backstage. And they pretty much, Baszler, Zoe, Sonya, they pretty much talked about, no, it ain't Damage Control that's running things here on Monday Night Raw. It's us. Curious what their new name is going to be. The Vixens? I'll just call them the Vixens for now until they officially unveil a new name. But they pretty much said they are the ones that's going to be running things from here on out. Of course, this had prompted the women's tag champions and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn to step up, say, don't really think that's going to be happening. To which Sonya Deville and crew pretty much pulled a Bruno Mars and said, don't believe me, just watch. All right, so we got that going on. I'm happy. First of all, I'm happy that Sonya Deville is just back as a featured player. Because right before she went out on injury, she was really putting in some damn good, solid work as a character. So I'm happy to see her back into the mix. Sonya Deville being added to Baszler and Zoe, that could be just what the doctor ordered as far as giving those girls not just a boost, but a little bit of flavor, because they've been kind of bland on their own, more so Zoe Stark than Shayna Baszler. So the fact that we got Sonya added to the mix, is essentially not just a mouthpiece, because she can definitely be that mouthpiece for this trio, but can also go in there and kick ass as well. Yeah, this is definitely a really good move. Something else that we had got too, while Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler and them, while they were being spoken to in a backstage interview, if you looked past their shoulders, you would have seen Chad Gable in a nice dress shirt, dress pants, chatting it up with the Creed brothers who were in suits. And off to the distance was Ivy Now. It looked like Ivy Now was in her ring gear. I'm not really sure, but I definitely saw her face. And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Anyway, but yeah, you're looking at that. You're going, oh, something's brewing. Something's brewing. All I could do was just nod my head like a proud Papa Lee Sanders and go, Chad Gable in the new Alpha Academy. This is what's up. I'm just loving what I'm seeing here, right? It's obvious that Chad Gable, strength in numbers, and rightfully so, because he is continuing to be harassed by the Wyatt Six. Let's not forget one of the opening matches for tonight's Raw, Chad Gable taking on Jey Uso. I laughed so damn hard hearing Michael Cole tell Pat McAfee. Great seeing Pat McAfee back, by the way. We definitely, I think this is my first time, I'm pretty sure this is my first time saying this and acknowledging this, but shout out to Pat McAfee. Very unfortunate what had happened in his family as he lost his stepfather. Untimely passing, too. Just, a little bit that is known, you're just going, wow. And then just like that, like, what the hell, right? So we were here last Monday, and I remember, actually, no, was it last Monday or was it the Monday before? Because I know Pat McAfee had missed a Raw. Sometimes it feels like it's been 1 week, and then other times it feels like it's been 2 weeks, I tell you. But I remember when we came on here, I wondered where Pat McAfee was. And I had questioned whether or not maybe this was part of a story angle or whatnot, because I'm going with the last thing that I remembered. But even I, as a wrestling fan, had said, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm kind of assuming, but, I guess we'll wait and see. And then to hear, but even I wasn't 100% certain what was going on with Pat McAfee. But to hear afterwards, this is actually why Pat had missed the show. My heart ached for him. I just couldn't help but like, that freaking sucks. That freaking sucks big time. So nice to see that he is, one day at a time. Him and the missus, are getting back into good spirits and all of that. When you lose somebody untimely, it's one thing, okay, look, we've been preparing for this. Their health has been on the decline for many years. Now, it may sound weird, but you're preparing yourself for the inevitable, but you're still not ready to say goodbye. But you do know what's going on, so you are preparing. Whereas just so suddenly, like wow. Like, what the hell, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's my whole point, right? So it was great seeing Pat McAfee back and everything. But Michael Cole telling Pat McAfee, hey, I learned how to turn on my flashlight since last you were here, Pat. I now know how to turn on my flashlight on my phone so I can get in on this Jey Uso entrance. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm shaking my head going, Oh my God. You know, at that point, he reminded me so much of Ed Sullivan. You know, he just kind of reminded me, wait, we've got a groovy new band for you guys to check out. It's Jim Morrison and the Doors, and they're going to perform for you that Light My Fire. You know, it's kind of one of those type of deals. Michael Cole really showing his age there. Like, I just want to give a tip to Michael Cole so bad. First off, I want to go, Michael Cole, Android or iOS? And if Michael Cole looks like an iOS guy. And if Michael Cole is an iOS guy, then my main piece of advice to Michael Cole would be, dude, start learning Siri. Freaking start learning Siri. Let me tell you something. When I had made the switch from Android to iOS, one of the first things that I was going, wow, this is so freaking amazing, was Siri. And just being able to wake up Siri by, saying, hey, and then mentioning the name, and then jumping right into what I want, whether it's turn my flashlight on. Okay, turn my flashlight off. I want to send a text message, or send a text message to wifey, or, send a text message to, and the dictation. The dictation is, for me, I don't know how it is for you guys, but the dictation for me, I would say out of 100, 98% of the time, types up whatever I'm saying, even my cuss words. And I love that automatic send feature that it does. Like, my best piece of advice to Michael Cole, learn the hell out of Siri if you haven't learned it already. It's a lifesaver. It's definitely a freaking game changer, man. Braun Breaker destroying Seth Rollins. So I kind of got my wish a little bit here, because I was very conflicted over the way things had panned out at Money in the Bank. I almost wish that we would have seen, to some degree, Sami Zayn get destroyed at that premium live event, at that pay-per-view event. But instead, it was essentially saved for tonight. So basically, we have Braun Breaker, who came out to new music, by the way. I was not feeling the new music. Tonight was the night for new music for a couple of guys. Braun Breaker's new music, I'm not feeling. It has that same crappy-ass, generic, royalty-free rock song, wannabe rock song. I was fine with the original theme that he was pushing and the dogs barking in the background. I thought that was badass. Soon as he comes out, you got the fans right there. Like, I was down with that. Pat McAfee was able to sell the hell out of that, really push the hell out of that. I'm not feeling the new music. It just, you took away something that was essentially unique for Braun Breaker in that entrance, and something that fans could resonate on. Now you've done a complete 180, and what kind of made him unique. I like hearing that whole stuff with the dogs and all that, because when I look at Braun Breaker and I see everything that the big man is doing, I'm going, yeah, he be that dog. That dog eats other dogs. He don't eat no meat. He don't eat no bread. He don't eat no damn, he don't drink no damn water. That dog is just eating other dogs, right? So, I mean, if you were going to change the music, I think you should have tried to go for a more rap inspired theme. I think maybe taking a page out of DMX, right? Like, for me, I think one of the things I would have done to that song, I would have had it kick off where my dog's at. And then you put the barking in there. Make sure you mix it and do it in a way where you don't get hit with a copyright from DMX's people. You feel me? But, I mean, think about it. First thing that you heard with the original theme, right? You hear that. And now you just hear this generic ass little guitar riff. And, it's like they used the same bubblegum ass freaking artists for all their, I don't know, are they going on Fiverr or something? And they're, I mean, I know we're going to get somebody that's going to be serious and go, no, they've actually been using blah, 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 blah. But like, no, it just sounds so goddamn generic. Seriously. Like, I'm not feeling it. Meanwhile, we're talking about themes. Meanwhile, Pete Dunne, he has a great revamped song. I thought the arrangements for that one, and it was just a straight up instrumental joint. I was just bobbing my head to that. I thought they did a really good job with that one. Great performance that he had, by the way, against Bronson Reed. I loved how the way this match was laid out, because they made, even though Pete Dunne lost, the way in which he lost, I mean, it was a performance that was full of grit, that showed Pete Dunne toughness, right? I loved it. And then seeing Sheamus come out post-match, trying to help out his fellow bruiser buddy, because Bronson Reed was continuing to add insult to injury. It wasn't just the fact that, okay, hey, I beat Pete Dunne, but I guess Bronson Reed was maybe mad at the fact that, goddamn, dude, you made me have to work for that. I think that was probably the case. And so he's even more angrier, beating the crap out of Pete Dunne. Sheamus gets in there for the save. And then when he tries to help out Pete Dunne shoves him. I appreciate the revisionist history that Michael Cole and the gang gave, as they essentially said, remember, it was Sheamus that left the Bruiser buddies. He left them high and dry, and ultimately, the group was no more, right? So you can't help but wonder, okay, so is that why Pete Dunne, he's got a little bit of animosity, a little bit of resentment there from that respected chapter to be continued, right? We were talking about Chad Gable, Jey Uso. I just briefly touched upon them, and then, we pretty much went on to the next thing. But some good, fun stuff in this match. But the greatest issue was the fact that this match, very short. Damn sure didn't help that you had a commercial break involved, so you really couldn't sink your teeth into this one. Kudos to how WWE has been doing Jey Uso. When you hear that sound effect music for the Wyatt Six and you start seeing the lights flickering and all that, that is, if I got one message to give to WWE, that is what needs to happen essentially every single time the Wyatt Six are getting ready to do something. You need to have people haul ass. That needs to be a recurring theme. We saw the carnage that went down when they destroyed everybody that was in the back around the gorilla position, right? That is what you need to have continue to happen. When those lights are being messed with, you got people that's fighting in the ring or whatever. Soon as all that stuff starts happening, you either see people gang up together, they can fight the good fight together, try to, ward them off or whatever, or haul ass. And I appreciated seeing Jey Uso go, hey, Us, time for me to dip, yo. I mean, he hauled ass. I loved it. Wyatt Six, they didn't physically touch Chad Gable, but they pretty much was letting him know, hey, we see you. We see you. We got to talk. Why they are infatuated with him is beyond me. Did he steal somebody's peanut butter sandwich? Does he owe some money? Did he steal somebody's Netflix subscription password and got that account terminated? Like, what is going on here, man? That's the $1 million question. What is going on here? But we're continuing to see Chad Gable play the numbers game with Alpha Academy and all that. Speaking of Wyatt Six, interesting segment that came up with Bo Dallas yet again. Bo Dallas essentially talking about why he ended up recruiting Nikki Cross, Sam Shaw, Eric Rowan, and all those cats. And basically he revealed that these people, they were mistreated, They were misled countless times. They were neglected. And he pretty much came in and, he essentially, he saved them as far as he was concerned. So it's interesting how also they spliced in the faces of who's who. But when it came to Nikki Cross, they did not show you her face. By the way, this ongoing running gag of Nikki Cross and the box of VHS tapes. The first go round, it's like, okay, all right, cool. The second go round, it's, hey, she's back. Hey, cool. Now it's just becoming comical. And I really want this to freaking succeed so bad. I really want this to succeed. But we got to be careful here, because if we keep going to the well and doing the same thing over and over and over again, look, what was shown to us this week with Bo Dallas, that was good. I'm not crapping on that, for the record. But the way in which it's continuing to be set up, it's becoming now a running gag. And so we need to nip it and change course. Because anytime you've got me sitting back like tonight and I said, wow, seeing Nikki Cross deliver these VHS tapes, I was thinking of an infamous Saturday Night Live skit where I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was the late Gilda Radner, who used to do these skits where, or maybe it was just one skit that I remember, but basically there was a knock at the door and the woman was like, who is it? Telegram. And the door is opened by the woman and this shark just eats her alive. It just goes right over her fucking head and all that. And she's eaten alive. I'm now looking at what's happening with Nikki Cross here as an SNL skit, and that's not good. That's not good, because, like, literally, I'm ready for Michael Cole and Pat McAfee to go, hey, Nikki, how you doing today? How you doing there, hon? I'm ready for them to go in that direction, so I need this to just switch up so badly. It's giving me the Michael Cole and Heidenreich thrust. Shout out if you know what I'm talking about. If not, Google it. But it's kind of giving me those comical vibes. So, we need to stop this already. One thing that I would like to see be sold a lot more from Cole and the gang. What is this girl's obsession with you, Cole? Why does she keep, focusing on you and giving you this stuff? What's going on here? Like, something that you want to tell us? And they could, it's the most simplistic goddamn thing that they can do with Michael Cole. Hear me out on this. It's the most simplistic thing they can do with Michael Cole. They can have Michael Cole, and if you really want to make this be serious, you really want to make this be the very next time that we fucking see Nikki Cross, and she's got a fucking telegram, Cole, what's this girl's obsession? What's something you're not telling us? Like something that we should know? Cole can give this more legitimacy by saying, well, look, I got to be honest with you. I would imagine by now, most people know this, but, that's Nikki Cross. And look, I've known Nikki Cross for a very long time when no one else, it seemed like, was in her corner. I would be there for her sometimes just as a launch pad for her to just talk to. I would just really listen. I'd give her some advice here and there, but I really was just there to really listen. And, we know all the issues that this woman has had since she's been in the WWE. Ultimately for her, it's been all about wanting acceptance. We've seen her have good days of, and see, this is the thing. I'm going to mention a key word, and I just feel that this word might be a little bit taboo for WWE. which is mental. And the way in which Michael Cole would put it out there, you know, hey, I've seen Nikki Cross have good days mentally, and then I've seen her have bad days. Like, if he can just, that is the most simplistic damn thing that you can do with this. You can go, okay, all right, we get it. All right, so it's Nikki Cross, and we get, okay, so obviously no matter what's kind of going on here, there's still that part of her that somehow respects Michael Cole. There's still that part of her. Essentially, this is why she's continuing to gravitate towards Michael Cole. Plain and simple. You do some stuff like that, then it's working. Then it's working. That's how you add some seriousness. That's how you add some depth to this whole Wyatt Six thing. But if we continue to keep going the comedic route, trying to insult fans' intelligence at the same time, dead on arrival. And it don't matter what you've got Bo Dallas saying this respected week. Thought it was interesting, though, that we had Adam Pearce as he was getting ready to go into a locker room, his office, basically, later on in the night. Waiting for him was Bo Dallas. Not Uncle Howdy. It was Bo Dallas. What Bo Dallas wants? It's a continuation. We got to watch next week's Raw to find out. So that's, I'm just looking to see if there was anything else that came from tonight's Raw. I think we covered everything, give or take. I'm just looking at the match card one more time. Yeah, we pretty much got through. Oh, Braun Breaker, Dragunov. God damn, that was fun. As far as like the match of the night where everything was, I would definitely say Dragunov, Braun Breaker. Nice to see them renew their feud, like, you know, pretty much a continuation for what they were doing in NXT. Dragunov won via DQ as towards the end, Braun Breaker tried for a spear, but Dragunov came up with a kick to stop Braun's momentum. Dragunov managed to break a count, tries to run towards Braun, but Braun tosses a chair at him, and that pretty much had caused the DQ. Dragunov selling the hell out of that. Oh my God. I love that. Everything involved in that was phenomenal. Was phenomenal by Braun Breaker. And then later on in the night to have Sami Zayn come out trying to extract revenge there on Breaker. And Breaker essentially telling Sami, yo, I'm not scared of you. Like, seriously, like, no. Karrion Kross, the Testament, after they learn that Kofi Kingston in storyline is injured, Karrion Kross talks about how the old guard will make way for the new, and everyone's favorite, including John Cena, as John Cena's time is up. Karrion Kross talks about how he knows Woods is watching, thinks he's one hell of a talent. Hey, it was him, Woods, that defeated him in a match last week, not Kofi Kingston. Saying that Woods, by every right, can become the man, or he can just keep tagging along there with Kofi. But as far as Karrion Kross is concerned, the New Day is dead. Woods just has to smarten up already and realize that. So saith the Final Testament. I love what's continuing to develop there with that. They're handling that right. Love what's going on there. Also, while we're talking about John Cena, can't help but wonder where we're going with this whole tour. And now it's been expanded upon, as you know, we heard from the initial news that was put out. John Cena's going to do Royal Rumble next year. He's going to do Elimination Chamber. He's going to do WrestleMania. And you're going, oh, okay, so then that's pretty much going to be it. But apparently the way John Cena is going to do this, he's actually going to go from January of 2025, and he's going to ride it out all the way until December of 2025. So you hear that, and you go, oh, okay, so we're doing a proper farewell tour here, it seems. Okay, nice. There's so many possibilities. I know I definitely would love to see, I know CM Punk has spoke about it at the press conference. I would love to see CM Punk and John Cena one more time. I would also love to see John Cena and Randy Orton one more time. I would love to see John Cena and Cody Rhodes, especially if you really want to, passing of the torch, new era for the WWE and all that, for sure. Could you maybe go the Austin Theory route? Yeah, sure. You could definitely do that as well. If you maybe want to do a real ultimate dream matchup and you want to try to somehow do Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena, if creatively everything is in the right position and the money is right, I think that would be bona fide badass. There's so many different directions that you can go with John Cena. One thing's for certain, though, we're going to have a whole freaking year. I mean, that's unprecedented. Like, we're going to have a whole freaking year of this. So WWE, that is, really has the best intentions at heart as far as giving John Cena the proper send-off here, you know? So overall, fairly decent episode of Monday Night Raw. One caveat to this, though. You felt every single minute of the 3 hours, because it felt like as you were watching this show throughout the night, a lot was, okay, other than this, okay, and maybe other than that, this just feels like we're filling time here. We're just filler. And then you're looking at average kind of matches, right? I mean, you had started off with such great explosive energy, and you really should have been able to continue to ride that energy going all throughout the night. I mean, when you really break it down, you fired off on all the right cylinders with Punk, Rollins, which, by the way, I still think we should have had Damian Priest, to Joe Punch's comment earlier, because I had references on social media when I was watching the segment in real time. We should have had Damian Priest as the World Heavyweight Champion come out there and pretty much checkmate all of those guys and say, don't none of y'all mofos ever stick your nose in my business again, or there's going to be hell to pay. The fact that we didn't even get CM Punk backstage, we got him once when he was talking with Adam Pearce. The fact that we did not see CM Punk bump into Damian Priest and go, oh, hey, you're welcome, and Damian Priest checkmate CM Punk right then and there. Like, that just, they fumbled that on so many levels, man. And it just, to Joe Punch's comment in the chat, or via Twitter, to his comment in the chat, he said, as a world champion, it's your requirement to headline. Priest is really the fourth wheel of a grander story being told, and it feels like his run as champ has been very mid. Very, very true. Very true. I mean, it's really hard to dispute that, is it not? I mean, seriously. It just really makes you, all right, man, can we really see this step up a notch, go in, because it's continuing to feel this way, and it really shouldn't, because the guy is busting his ass. He's putting some really good stuff out there. 3 weeks to go until SummerSlam, and this felt overall like an underwhelming episode with only, okay, really good strong opener, really good match there between Dragunov and Breaker. Hey, Rhea Ripley's back, right? So, you know, look at that like a sandwich, right? So the stuff in between is like, well, besides this one layer, this one thing, Everything else, meh. And you got 3 weeks to go until SummerSlam. It is what it is. Let's see how you guys voted. Go to Twitter here at the RCWR show. See how you guys voted. Kept it simple this go round. 3 options: terrible show, average show, awesome show. Right now, I'm seeing 28% of you are saying an average show. Meanwhile, 71% of you are saying awesome show. Let's go to YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab that way. Let's see what we got here. Right now, I am seeing 10% of you said it was a terrible show, while 30% of you felt it was an average show, and 60% of you said it was an awesome show. Appreciate you guys that had cast your votes. By the way, final tally results for Saturday's Money in the Bank is as follows. Looking at YouTube first here. 9% of you felt it was a terrible show. 14% of you said Money in the Bank was a below average show. 23% of you said it was an average show, while 55% of you felt Money in the Bank was an awesome show. Let's see what you guys had to say via Twitter. Twitter. I'm still looking for the, yeah, there it is. All right, here it is. For Twitter, 27% of you said it was a terrible show. 17% of you said it was a below average show. 9% of you said it was an awesome show. Top dog right now, 46% of the votes felt Money in the Bank was a average show. Appreciate you guys that sounded off on Money in the Bank and on tonight's WWE RAW episode. Now, Heat Wave. Looking at the polling results here for NXT Heat Wave. Gave you guys 4 options. Looking at YouTube first. 12% of the votes, Ego, Ethan Page, yo. Meanwhile, with 18% of the votes, average show. And 71% of the votes, top dog right now of you, felt NXT Heat Wave was a awesome show. Appreciate you guys that voted via YouTube. Let's see how you guys did via Twitter. NXT Heat Wave here. I love that it's so easy for me to find my polling results for NXT Heat Wave. Hang on. All right. Twitter. 10% of you said Ego, Ethan Page. Oh, that's a tie. Got a tie for 10%. The other 10% of you said it was an average show. Meanwhile, 80% of you said it was a awesome show. Look, I got to be honest. As far as NXT Heatwave goes, I loved that card. I got to say, I was looking at the entire card, all of the matches, and I'm not in my head. I'm watching this. And then keep in mind, I am seldomly watching NXT these days, but what has me coming back, watching more and more, I love Shawn Spears. Congratulations to him, by the way, because didn't he and one of the girls from the Iconics, what is it, Peyton Royce, isn't he a proud papa? Didn't they welcome a child? If I remember that right. I'm 90% certain I'm remembering that right. So congratulations. But I love Shawn Spears. Love what he's been doing in NXT. So that's had me come around more, seeing what's up. Ego Ethan Page has been firing off on all cylinders. And, I've been seeing what he was doing in TNA and all that. I always felt that in regards to him in AEW, they dropped the ball with him big time. Right down to the point, did you see the comments that he put out there for AEW. I thought the comments that he said here was very, very interesting here. I think I'm reading for you guys two comments from two different interviews. So shout out to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson's Talking Shop podcast, where he talked about the difference between WWE and AEW and, you know, his whole experience and everything. He said, pretty crazy. I went from somewhere that was so chaotic and unorganized to a place that, I mean, I'm still learning because I'm still so new here. But this is a machine and it's incredible. It feels good to not feel like I have to do everything myself. To have people that want to see me succeed is kind of mind-blowing. And remember, Shawn Michaels, he made it clear that he's very high on Ethan Page and that NXT Heat Wave, that it proved to be true when, he grabbed the championship there from Trick Williams. You know, fans are definitely feeling very divided. I was seeing a lot of what was being said in forums and online. You've got a lot of fans that are just stunned by what had went down because they did not see this coming. And I get that. It's like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't even have 3 months with WWE. And goddamn, he's the NXT champion, right? You know, there's not, I didn't really see any hate on that. It's just, wow, WWE did this? And then you have others that are just very excited for Ethan Page because they've been following his respected career for such a long time and everything. And it's, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see, honestly, that, wow, look at this guy. Look at everything that's happening for this guy in his respected career. Like, this is badass. Now, he also talked about in the same interview why he ended up leaving AEW, which this is what he had said. As Microsoft is trying to get me to log in, and I wish they would just, there we go. Let me just hit, no, I don't want to log in. No, Microsoft is trying to get me to log in to be able to read this article, and it's like, fuck you. No, it was definitely time to leave. I could sit in catering for the next 3 years and my career would end, or I try to do something before my career ends. He also talked about and admitted that he had a childhood, lifelong dream to go to the WWE. A lot of his idols were WWE superstars, talking about how his favorites were the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Love Macho Man. The Rock, Billy Gunn, Razor Ramon. Page says he was allowed to leave AEW and received a random phone call from WWE on a layover while traveling to an independent date. So that's where everything just kind of, went from there. I mean, that is just a really cool story. I'm happy for the guy. Really, legit. I followed his work for a handful of years now. Not his entire career, just a handful of years. Pretty much his days in TNA on. Almost like when he first arrived in TNA on. I'm like, this kid's got something special here. I like where this guy is going. So the fact that if you're an AEW fan, real talk, if you're an AEW fan, if you are a fan that appreciates wrestling from various promotions, you're looking at what went down there with, I see the comments in the chat, by the way. I got you. You're looking at the comments there, of which I got you guys. Why are you guys buffering though? What's going on? Let me look at the stream health. Okay, so that's just YouTube doing its thing. All right, the stream health at my end is strong and good. That's all that matters. But if you are an AEW fan, or if you're a wrestling fan that appreciates wrestling from all promotions, and you've been following certain talents, in this case, Ethan Page, you're looking at, wow, wait a minute, this guy was doing XYZ over here in this promotion, and now he has essentially jumped over here to this promotion. And look at the overall presentation of this character. Night and day. Day and night. Night and day. Quoting one of my favorite Frank Sinatra songs. Seriously. And the funniest part, I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of a secret here. Although it might not be a secret if you've really been on top of your wrestling like that. But let me let you in on a little secret. Ego Ethan Page, he's been the same goddamn character the whole time. That's the funny part. That is the funny part. He's been the same goddamn character the entire time. What has changed is not just the trajectory. When you look at how he was handled, look at how he was handled in TNA, AEW, WWE. I challenge anybody. Just go back, look at those. Even towards the end of his run in TNA, at least you could go, okay, look, creatively, this guy is going balls out crazy. You know, he's putting on really great matches. He's got a great, strong character. And just even the way in which his character went out in the TNA world. I remember when it initially went down, that shit went viral. It went viral. I remember that. Look at what happened when he arrived in AEW. Just so many mishandlings with the Ethan Page character. And then when you did think, okay, maybe we're on to something here. Maybe we're building upon something kind of cool here. Remember, they had that one arc. Here's Ethan Page's whole AEW run in a nutshell. This is kind of sad. I mean, good. Look, no disrespect to the people involved in this story arc, because it was a good supporting cast. But look at how it fell short on the potential. You had Ethan Page be involved with the Hardy Boys. Remember that? The original story, Ethan Page had acquired the services of, I think it was Matt Hardy. I think this was before Jeff came into the picture. But he had acquired the services of Matt Hardy. And then ultimately you had this match go down. This is way after Jeff Hardy came into the mix. You had a match go down where Ethan Page didn't know it, but ownership, percentage of Matt Hardy's profits, all that was up for grabs. And as well as if Ethan Page didn't win the match, then basically the shoe was on the other foot. It would be his turn to basically be in the services of the Hardy Boys. And you're like, oh, wow, Ethan Page lost. Okay, so where are we going here? What's going to happen now? So you had some fun curiosity, and creatively, you're expecting a lot of crazy fun things to go down here with all the parties involved. Never happened. Never happened, unfortunately. And eventually, Ethan Page was just off TV. You're like, where the hell is Ethan Page? Find me a fan who is going to say, no, Ethan Page in AEW was awesome compared to what he was doing in TNA and what he's currently doing in WWE. I will say to you, bullshit. That's a straight up lie. No. You know, if you're Tony Khan and crew, if you are a AEW fan, if you are a wrestling fan that appreciates wrestling from all promotions, and you've been on top of what's been happening there in AEW, you're now going, man, so let me see if I got this straight. They couldn't quite, AEW and Tony Khan and crew, so they couldn't quite grasp the Ethan Page character and really maximize the hell out of this guy. You couldn't really maximize the hell out of Brian Pillman Jr. And on a silver goddamn platter, you had that infamous episode of Dark Side of the Ring covering his father. And if there was ever a time where, okay, you know what? Man, we should ride the momentum off of this episode. You didn't do that for whatever respected reason. And I've always given AEW and crew an out, which was maybe he felt the timing wasn't right. Who knows? But when it's all said and done in retrospect, okay, you couldn't execute the right vision. You couldn't execute the right creative with Ethan Page. Couldn't do it for Brian Pillman Jr. Couldn't do it with the chairman, Sean Spears. Couldn't do it with Jade Cargill. And man, you try to give Jade Cargill more money, than whatever she potentially was getting from the WWE. And Jade Cargill just pretty much, nah, deuces. Appreciate the raise, but nah, deuces, I'm out. Right? Cody Rhodes. CM Punk. I mean, do I need to keep going here? I mean, I think we got enough names, right? One, you go, okay, yeah, it was just a bad hand. Just bad, yeah, it happens. Second time, you're going, wow, boy, bad luck. We'll get it right next time. But when you go to 3 and up, at some point, you got to take a step back and you got to go, damn, what are we doing wrong here? Like seriously, what are we doing wrong here? Because we're seeing these guys that we had working for us, and they are thriving. They're eating good. They're doing much better in this neighborhood over here. So what are we doing wrong? And what can we do to correct that? I think it's going to continue. I honestly believe it's going to continue. I believe in my heart of hearts that as far as like who's next that's going to go to WWE, I honestly believe that Taz and Hook are going to be next. Whether as a package, like Hook is definitely, I would be shocked to see Hook stick around. But I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, Hook is going to roll out. I am eyeing the hell out of Ricky Starks. I mean, it just feel, I got to go with my gut instinct. My guts is right. And normally my guts are on point. When I feel I have a good general sense about something, a character, situation, or whatever, like very seldom am I wrong. Ricky Starks definitely, that's going to be the next, for sure. I think that'd be a fun episode to do. We sit down, we look at the names of AEW talents and go, okay, so who's next? I know Malachi Black had signed a long-term contract. I don't know for how long that long contract is, but you don't think Triple H, Paul Levesque, second time around, would love to have Malachi Black back into the fold again? I'm sure Malachi Black is paying very close attention to what's going on with the Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six and all that. I'm sure he's also looking at what Karrion Kross is doing. I'd like to believe he's also looking at what the Bloodline is doing, and I would like to believe he is somewhere. You know, I got to check out his Twitch streams if he's still doing them, see what he's chatting up about, and maybe pose a question to him. But I would like to believe he's probably nodding his head, right? And hey, who doesn't still have their contacts, have their friends in WWE or vice versa if it's AEW? But I would like to believe he's probably nodding his head, keeping tabs. I could see him definitely. Look, his wife is over there. Zelina Vega, she's over there. Let's not forget about that. Right? That'd be fun to do. We'll do that for you guys. If we don't do it later this week, where I give you guys a bonus show, we'll definitely do it next week and just go down the list. But, you know, if you're AEW crew, if you're a fan, you're literally going, okay, we've seen too many instances now where all these cats have rolled out and this has happened over here. Like, what the hell? And Ethan Page becoming the NXT World Heavyweight Champion. First of all, I love the way that it went down. I love the fact that at the very end, Trick Williams denied the opportunity to get back in the ring because who was it? Was it Shawn Spears or was it Javon Evans? Somebody was pulling at his leg, and Ethan Page essentially was able to pick up the W that way. So Ethan Page becoming the new NXT champion without actually pinning the champion. Oh my God, that was just fucking badass. I loved it on so many levels. Roxanne Perez retaining her NXT Women's Championship against Lola Vice. Look, man, I love me some Lola Vice. Ooh, that girl is... oh, my God. Where do I begin with her? Let me ask this question. What can she not do? She is so goddamn talented. She is so gifted. And stunningly beautiful on top of all of that. What can she not do? You know what I look at when I see Lola Vice? And I don't see enough people bringing this up because it's dead accurate true. Prove me wrong otherwise. Everything that Lola Vice is, including in this moment, right here, right now, involving her overall presentation of her character and all that. Everything that's happening right now, which has been popping off positively on all cylinders. That could have been Nikita Lyons. Faith the Lioness. That could have been her. I'm really concerned about that woman. Shout out to Jeffrey. I'm really concerned about that girl. I'm concerned about her because, you know, we unfortunately keep seeing the history of the injuries with her, right? And if you were to say to me somewhere down the road, hey, Lee, looks like Nikita Lyons is going to be released. If you were to say that to me 3 months from now, 6 months from now, I would say to you, I'm not surprised. You know, the injuries, that's the number one deal breakers. The injuries keep piling up on this girl. But man, perfect world, injuries, no issue whatsoever. Nikita Lyons should be exactly in this type of role that Lola Vice is in. That's what is so just, wow, mind-blowing. Like, when you really stop and think about it, and you know your women's wrestlers like that, if you really stop and you marinate on it, you'll definitely feel where I'm coming from, right? But Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice out of that whole Heatwave card, that was my most favorite match out of the entire Heatwave card. Period. I love that fucking match. Now, look, I'll definitely show Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka some love as well. I mean, they had a damn good match as well. But for me, seeing what these two young girls, relatively in the same age range, and they went out there, you know, I'm looking at these two kids and I'm going, okay, y'all pretty much got one of two main event spots here on this card. All right, let's see what you guys got. And they hit it out of the goddamn park. I couldn't be any more prouder of these two girls. And the future just feels like, as far as the women's division goes, I just feel like, okay, well, with these two women that are at play, man, the sky's the limit. These girls are going to continue to get better and better. If they are at this level right now, Lola Vice is 25, and I think Roxanne Perez is somewhere between 22 to 24-ish. If she's 25, okay, great. But they're basically in the same age range. If they're this good right now, just imagine where these girls are going to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Very proud of their performance from their match. Good stuff. Nathan Frazier, Axiom, defeating Chase University, retaining the NXT tag titles. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love Chase U. I always have a smile on my face whenever I see Chase U. Always a good moment whenever I watch a tag match involving them and everything. Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. That's all I got to say. Chef's kiss. Two other young up-and-comers that did really good here. Got to give them a lot of props. They did good. Obi Femi, Wesley, last chance match for the NXT North American Championship. Love that match as well. It's so funny. When I look at the overall NXT Heatwave card, right? By the way, I hope you guys weren't expecting the full-blown review for NXT Heatwave. Otherwise, we'd be here all night. It's just, at this point, if I haven't convinced you to go watch NXT Heatwave, maybe this next comment will. What I saw from NXT Heatwave, I enjoyed the event overall a lot more than Money in the Bank. Because let's be honest, other than seeing the spot go down with CM Punk, the only other thing that was, okay, you know what? That actually was pretty good. It was a car crash, a lot of botches, some sloppiness there, but yeah, it was actually kind of entertaining. Definitely fun. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. But NXT Heatwave, don't believe me, go watch. Better card, top to bottom, than what I saw from Money in the Bank. So all parties involved needs to be patting themselves on the back. In regards to how NXT was handled, everybody involved, Shawn Michaels, to everybody, whoever was in charge of booking the matches and all that, everybody needs to pat themselves on the back. That was the better event of the weekend when compared to Money in the Bank. Which brings us to this next question. From Smoke Central. Was the briefcase wasted? Now, for the record, in regards to Tiffany Stratton winning the Money in the Bank, that was the right move. They went with the right person. I feel she is catching up a storm. Good move right there. The Drew McIntyre situation and the briefcase, now that I've had an opportunity to sleep on it for a couple of days, I still feel from the initial comments, my initial reaction when I was live here on the Money in the Bank post show, I still feel 2 days later, technically 3 days later now, because it's now Tuesday morning here on the East Coast. I still feel that should not have happened. I wouldn't say waste, because it's a strong word to use, isn't it? When you say you wasted something, right? Oh, what a waste of potential. What a waste of right? I would have to put an asterisk by this one. And let me explain. This ain't long-winded. I'm okay with what was done. I don't like it, for the record. I still don't like it. I still feel you should have just gone in a different direction. You should have gone with either Chad Gable, Jey Uso, or Dark Horse and LA Knight. I still feel you should have gone in one of those three directions. Okay, but now it is what it is. Put an asterisk by this and go, okay, well, you know what? So as long as we don't see a situation like this happen again with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase for a period of 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, then you know what? Okay, the wrestling community can live with that. They can live with that. Because this feels like a Vince Russo move. And I don't mean that in any form of disrespect. When I say this feels like a Vince Russo move, remember what Vince Russo would notoriously say in regards to the championships and all that. Like, even to a degree, Bruce Pritchard has said this as well, which is, look, the title, whatever we need to do with that title, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but whatever we need to do with that title, it's just a means to an end. And if we need to use it in the form of a story angle to, get to a certain point, especially to get certain characters over, okay, well, that title is nothing more than a prop. Then we're going to do what we need to do with it. So in this case, I look at what was done with that Money in the Bank briefcase, although not a title. Just from what we had talked about a couple of nights ago, hey, Money in the Bank, you are the anointed one. You're the one that we're basically saying is next up. Everybody needs to be watching you. Hey, fans, we hear you. We're giving you that bone. Like, here's that next person. Check this out. It's interesting how they've done this, because they have let the fans know that they are more heavily invested in this feud between Punk and McIntyre, and whatever they can do to help really add more fuel to that respected feud, then so be it. When you think about it in retrospect, if I were to be devil's advocate, when you think about it in retrospect, look at this, consider this. Let's say it did not happen, the spot with Money in the Bank. And let's say Drew McIntyre won. Let's say Drew McIntyre, he would go as scheduled, win the briefcase. Let's say Drew McIntyre goes in, tries to interfere in the Damian Priest, Seth Rollins match, but CM Punk stops him, denies him, and somehow in the process fucks up Seth Rollins, screws him out of his last chance, but Drew McIntyre still has that Money in the Bank briefcase. Now you have it as a situation where, okay, it's not about two individuals. It is about this briefcase, because you're going to be thinking about is the briefcase. The briefcase, the briefcase, the briefcase, the briefcase, the briefcase. Now, some of you guys may say, well, we could have avoided that whole situation, Lee, if we didn't put Drew as the winner of the briefcase anyway, which brings me back to that original point I had from the post show, which was even more the reason why you could have made an argument Punk should have interfered and cost Drew the opportunity to win that Money in the Bank briefcase. That way you're still putting the spotlight on your potential future stars of tomorrow while still getting the same end result that you need to continue to add more fuel. I think when it's all said and done, when you really take a step back and think about it, WWE was trying to add more fuel to the fire for eventually when these two men lock up. I just kind of feel, though, that potentially in a haste, like if cooler heads really would have prevailed, if they really would have marinated on this, the interference and all that would have went down in that men's ladder match. Drew would have been screwed. Same end result. You could have had the same end result, especially with Drew McIntyre coming out on the post show talking about getting screwed. Everything that you could have got the same end results had you done those couple of minor little tweaks. But look, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. It's obvious the way WWE is pretty much setting this up. They are basically going, look, we've got Cody Rhodes over here. All right, so Cody's got his thing with the bloodline, Solo Sikoa. All right, cool. He's over here. Meanwhile, we've got Gunther that is supposed to challenge at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. All right, look, we don't need any distractions right here because as far as we're concerned, we think Gunther be that next man. So we don't want no Money in the Bank briefcase thing hanging over these two guys. No. Especially since, Gunther. It's going to be Gunther. Gunther's going to be the man. Gunther's going to get it done. I'm telling you right now, as it stands here, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, at 1:28 in the morning, I feel Gunther is going to come out of that motherfucking SummerSlam as your new World Heavyweight Champion. They have done such a great job. Like, on the one hand, if you have Gunther lose to Damian Priest, you're going, okay, you're really trying to add on to the legitimacy for Gunther's championship and all that. But boy, I tell you what, that's a mighty tall hill to climb, man, because Gunther is just the overall presentation, especially as far as just being, checking off every box. Gunther's got more checked off, sadly, than Damian Priest at this point. So, I don't know. Could be a spoiler right there. We could be looking at a new champion is what I'm saying. We'll see how it pans out in a couple of weeks. But to do it in this fashion where, okay, ain't no men's Money in the Bank. Nah, you can forget about that. This is definitively what's going on. We got everything that's happening right now with Cody and them to ultimately set up a Roman Reigns babyface return. We got everything we got going on over here with the Raw World title because we want the emphasis and the spotlight to be on Damian and Gunther. We got Drew over here with CM Punk because XYZ. This is the animosity. This is the hatred. This is how they keep going back and forth here. This is what's up. If this is their thought process, I do know a thing or two of writing, by the way. If this is creative's thought process, then I would say to the wrestling fan, so as long as WWE does not do what they did with that men's Money in the Bank briefcase for a period of 3, 5, damn near close to 10 years, I think we'll be all right with that. Good question. Damn good question. Fane, is it possible custody of Dominik match again? Bro. Dominik Mysterio on a pole match. Forget about it, bro. Come on. Bro, it writes itself. Custody of Dominik. Dominik on a pole match. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Let's see. What the fuck? What is this? I don't know what the hell that is. I see a bunch of hashtags and it's like hashtag, and it has nothing to do with what we're saying here on the show. Hang on here. Yeah, so, and then we will also, while I'm doing that, and then we'll remove that crap. Yeah. Sorry, we don't do that political stuff. We don't, yeah. You ain't gonna find us, hashtagging, all that stuff. No. There's a time and place for that. We're not gonna do that here. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Not on this show. Now, it's one thing if me and the missus, if we do wrestling with the topics, and maybe we kind of go in that direction, but newer listeners, you should kind of understand the pattern by now. We like to try to keep things separate if we can help it. Although there's been times where this topic is, it's pretty serious. It's got a lot of folks talking about it. So let's talk about it here on the show and, go from there. But yeah, no, we're going to leave that one alone. So we got that. I'm just trying to think of anything else. I have not seen the WrestleMania XL joint yet. I just don't think I will watch it. That may surprise a lot of you guys, but I remember when I was telling my wife this, I said, hon, I'm just at a point right now where unless I poll, which I will do, unless I poll the audience and the audience wants me to watch it, they want me to give my thoughts, then okay, that's one thing. But asking me just as an individual, hey, can you go out of your way to watch? It's I don't want to. I don't want to know all those inner workings. And I just feel it's way too soon to be, it feels like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and crew are just putting out this hit piece to basically build up their production studios portfolio. That's how it just comes off to me, honestly. And it's one of those deals where, wait, do I really want to watch this? Am I watching this for all of the right reasons? Now, if you were to say to me, once WrestleMania 50 is about to drop, and you were to say to me, hey, Lee, apparently they had a lot of cameras, they recorded all this stuff from WrestleMania XL, and as we get ready to approach the 50th anniversary of WrestleMania, oh, wow, man, we got a goodie of a story right here. We get WrestleMania XL. It's oh, okay, well, yeah, sure. What the hell? Let's go ahead. Or, look, it doesn't even have to be WrestleMania 50. You could just be you could just be hey, look, 5 years later, it's the 5th anniversary of WrestleMania XL. Hey, WWE is doing this cool thing right here where they're putting this doc out about WrestleMania XL. Okay, all right, 5th anniversary. Yeah, let's see. But to just, we're going all balls in here. I don't know. There's just something about that. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's that part of me that, no, I'm good. I'm content, really. I'm good. But I will poll you guys sometime Tuesday afternoon. So be on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Look at the communities tab, and I'll be picking you all's brain. You all decide for me. If you want me to watch it and talk about it, give you my thoughts, sound off. If you're good, you'll have that option to be saying, no, Lee, I feel you. I heard what you said on the show. Nah, we're good on this one, right? Wolverine and Deadpool coming up in a couple of weeks. The new Beverly Hills Cop movie is out right now on Netflix. I have not watched that yet. Ever since I had joined T-Mobile, I get Netflix on the house, and I keep reminding the wife, get on the Netflix, activated and all that from your phone already. And she keeps getting distracted. So hopefully I'll be able to sit down. My whole point, bringing all that up. Hopefully I'll be able to sit down, watch the new Beverly Hills Cop movie, and talk about it here with you guys in the coming days. Wrestling news-wise, very, very quiet. Not much else is out there right now. We're still kind of just reeling in the after effects of what happened with Money in the Bank. Little driplets of news here and there. I know Jordan Grace's TNA contract, she revealed, is going to be coming up in I think she either said January or just early first quarter of 2025. Look, I would hope that without WWE, doing any form of tampering and all that, which, when you really stop and think about it, one of the main reasons why WWE is working with the TNAs, working with Japanese promotions like Noah and God knows whatever other promotions down the pipeline. You know, I really believe that, one, it's a new day, it's a new era, but then number two, what had went down with that whole litigation stuff with MLW, WWE is trying to make sure, I think, that they're never in a position like that again. Because remember, they had to settle. They ended up settling that out of court and all that. So it's going to be an interesting year for Jordynne Grace. I think Jordynne Grace, the way she's been presented in WWE, man, I'm telling you, if WWE ends up getting a hold of Jordynne Grace, you ain't got to do no NXT crap. You do not have to do no NXT crap. You could pretty much go right to the main roster with Jordynne Grace. Easily. You know, that reminds me, I'm thinking about my girl Camille Brickhouse. We have yet to see anything with Camille Brickhouse in AEW. The last thing I think I remember hearing is, yeah, we got the graphics, talked a little something about creative, but that pretty much was it. I was like, wow, okay. But no, Jordynne Grace, you know, she's been involved in the wrestling business for a long time. She goes back to 2011, 2012. She's been at it for a long time. And she's not an old head. She is still a youngin', believe it or not. She just turned 28 not long ago. So you can easily bypass the hell out of NXT and put that girl right on the main roster. If WWE is able to get her, that is a huge acquisition. That is a huge acquisition. By the way, I see they did the tease there for Joe Henry from TNA. I'm looking forward to watching NXT this week, seeing what's going to happen with our boy. Because I do believe in Joe Henry. I'm laughing because I was getting ready to say, I believe in Jordynne Grace. I believe in Jordynne Grace. Wish they would keep Zoe in catering or just use her at the live events because I don't want her on my TV. Johnny said that in the chat just now. I believe in Jordynne Grace. I mean, you can really... God, I am so going to try to create a video now of Jordynne Grace doing the whole clapping. I love Jordynne Grace, but I'm just picturing. Oh, that's going to be funny. I'm going to play around with that. First, I'm going to see if it's already out. If it's not already out on social media, then I'm going to fucking make the shit. Zoe Stark. Yeah, man. Zoe Stark, that is a... I've tried very hard to like Zoe Stark. That long dramatic pause, I'm just fumbling in my thought process, but I'm just going to give it to you guys right between the eyes. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to filter it. I get that not everyone can be mid-card. Not everyone can be world title. Like, I get that. You're going to have some people, okay, enhancement talents. We're going to have some people that, okay, look, we need your help for the tag division here. Okay, I get that. But then there's some people who I look at and I go, God damn, you're lucky. I just go, God damn, you're lucky because, man, you know, what you offer is kind of mediocre. I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. Like, man, what you offer is mediocre. You know, at least I can look at Shayna Baszler and I can go, yo, right creative. She still got that dog in her. You know, she got that dog in her like Braun Breaker, right? She got that kind of dog. You know, but Zoe, and remember she was teamed up with Trish Stratus for a couple of months there. And whatever was happening didn't really transfer over to her. We'll see what happens with the pairing there of Zoe, Shayna, Sonya. We'll see what happens with that. Sonya is a really good mouthpiece. Maybe, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm not going to say one thing that I will push back on. And I'll be honest. Again, we have wrestlers that check out this show. They check out what other podcasts are saying about them, about the product, about the company they're in, all that stuff. There is one piece of advice that I could give to Zoe Stark. If I had her ear, I would say, look, your in-ring stuff, hey, you're okay, right? It ain't nothing flashy. It's not something that is memorable. It gets the job done. You know what? She's almost in the ring. She's almost like a male version of The Miz. Miz does not do anything flashy. Miz does not do anything. Oh my God! He what you see is what you get, and it works just fine. He's safe. He doesn't have any major injury. Knock on wood. He's just been able to continue to work, all that good stuff, right? So the one thing that I would challenge Zoe Stark if I had her ear, I would go, hey, if you can take some acting classes, take them. Whether you got to do it through Zoom, Google Hangouts, or you're able to actually go to a workshop in person. Take up some acting lessons. See if you can be an extra on something. Start stringing together some small little roles. If you can ultimately get on an episode of Law and Order SVU and you can be a raped victim or whatever, okay, go for it. But start taking up some acting lessons. Combine all of those lessons that you're able to learn on your off time. Be looking at yourself in the mirror and try to figure out ways to flush out your character. If she can figure that out, if she can figure out her character and as a result of that, be able to connect with the fans, then she'll be all right. That's how she'll be able to make up for, because look, no matter how we may personally feel about The Miz, the one thing that we can say about The Miz, get him away from commentary. Because on commentary, he offers nothing. Yeah, we remember the days of talking smack, but guess what? That's not the Miz that we're going to get on commentary, so let's keep that at 100. However, if we can get the type of Miz who, okay, you don't have to worry about commentary. Just go out there. You've got no restraints. Put out some really good stuff on the microphone. Just go at it, dude. Seriously, go at it. Miz can give you memorable stuff. I won't really say memorable feuds, but he can give you some really good stuff. If Zoe can ultimately get to that point with everything that I'm talking about, I think overall she'll be okay. If she, I promise you this much, if she does not go in that direction of the acting lessons and all of that, look, I don't know when her contract is up, but seeing how WWE likes to operate with these contracts now, they just let them expire. Trust me. What's going on with her, Shayna, and who's the other one? Sonya right now. This could be part of the last tour. You feel me? This could be the end of the leg tour here, right? If this doesn't work, and we're talking about releasing some folks, no matter how people may feel about Shayna Baszler or insert name, Zoe will definitely be looked at pretty hard, and then it's pretty much going to go from there. It is what it is. It is what it is. I love the idea of custody of Dominik match. Seriously. Dominik Mysterio on a pole match. I love that idea. Bro, it sells itself. It sells itself. All right, I want to recognize our sponsors as we get ready to get up out of here. Hey, if you've been enjoying yourselves, shout out if you're watching this via YouTube. For those not maybe watching on YouTube, do show love, especially if you do frequent YouTube. Show our YouTube page some love. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. We're pretty close to getting, 15,000 subs. That's 15 and 3 zeros. Like we're close to getting it. We're like less than 200 away from it. So make it happen. Show some love and subscribe and all that jazz. Help us out. Word of mouth, spread the content. Leave a rating for the show on iTunes, Spotify. So apparently, let me see if I got this straight. In order to leave a rating, I'm confirming to you guys, by the way. Apparently on Spotify, in order to rate a podcast, you pretty much have to do it on your mobile phone. So for those of you that got Spotify, leave us those ratings on Spotify because it definitely helps with listener recommendations and all that good stuff. Yeah, right before we roll out, I want to recognize some of our sponsors. I believe in Jordan Grace. Oh, God. Jordan Grace, I think she's going to kill me when I freaking put that together. Shout out to the good folks over at Axiom of Alchemy. Learn more by visiting axiomofalchemy.com. They've got a Etsy store as well. Check out the links in the episode description for them. Also, we are brought to you in part by our friends over at canaglobe.biz//sweet sensations. If you're tired of dreaming about running your own cannabis dispensary, legally, mind you, but you're getting stuck on licensing and costs, they've got the perfect solution for you. You can start it all up for just as low as $500. Everything is 100% legal. They help you out with inventory, the whole 9 yards. You got nothing to worry about, a lot to gain as well. They got coverage in 50 states and 26 countries, offering customers top-tier products. No inventory headaches. They manage it all. Learn more by hitting them up on canaglobe.biz//sweet sensations or give them a call at area code 702-767-0683. The RCWR show with Lee Sanders is also brought to you in part by Top Tier Financial Group. Learn more by visiting toptierfinancialgroup.com. We are also brought to you in part by MITB. If you are tired of paying all that money for Viagra and Cialis, call the folks at MITB at 1-833-693-3633. You can buy generic versions of the drugs that I just mentioned for a much lower price. And the best part, you'll get the same fantastic results in the bedroom over and over again. Save money and have the same great results. I mean, that's a win-win combination. MITB, give them a call at 1-833-693-3633. Shout out to our friends over at the Orange and Blue Glory Facebook page. If you are a diehard Florida Gators fan and you bleed orange and blue, check out the Orange and Blue Glory Facebook page for the very latest in all things Florida Gators. Last but not least, shout out to my friends over at the Ancient Supplement Store. Check them out at ancientsupplements.store. If you're looking for vitamins, whatever supplements you are thinking of, something for your joints, your hips, your back, you're dealing with mild to chronic pain, you need focus, clarity, they've got all types of great supplements at affordable prices, FDA approved, money back guarantee if you're not satisfied. All of these sponsors that just mentioned here on this show, they help keep us going. Without their kind contributions, we definitely, a long time ago, many years ago, we definitely would have been behind a paywall. So they definitely are friends of ours. Make sure you show the ultimate respect and check them out. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Even if you end up not purchasing anything from them, just the fact of going out of your way to visit their sites at least, or maybe call them, get more information, that goes a long ways. So we appreciate these guys. Next edition of the RCWR show. I got to get with Tams, and we were supposed to sit down over the weekend and record an episode of Wrestling with the Topics, but I got sidetracked with work and then the pay-per-views that was just, I wasn't aware of the heat wave, and because originally we were going to sit down Sunday, but then I found out Heat Wave was on from NXT, and I said, oh, wait, I actually want to watch this. Let me see what's going on. So that threw a loop in the thing. So we should be sitting down this week, and the way we're going to do it, we're actually going to record 2 episodes in one take. Whether or not I'll release both of those in one sitting or group it all as one episode, or maybe just release it in 2 parts. I have to wait and see how we're going to do that one. I think we might end up doing another bonus episode of the RCWR show later this week. Because it's been a minute since we really poked our head in AEW, TNA, and I kind of want to poke my head and see what's going on, talk about them a little bit more at length. So maybe we'll do another bonus show later this week, right? Be Kind Rewind. Check out previous episodes, what we have available for you all on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR show. Get at your man on the Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Continue to stay hydrated out there. Look out for pets and the elderly, especially. And until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. A very good night, good morning, y'all. Take care.